For this tutorial, you will need ponytails, some yarn, crochet hook and scissors, and a sewing needle. You will start by creating a slip knot. So what you do is wrap the yarn around 2 fingers as so. You grab your hook, go through the hole, pull the yarn through and tighten it. Then grab your ponytail, put it in front of the yarn so that way it's easier to get a hold of. And you will do single crochets around the whole entire ponytail. You grab the yarn, you will have 2 loops, you yarn over, and then you go through both of those 2 loops. As you do this, you want to hold on to this yarn that's left from the beginning. You want to hold it as you go along with your single crochets, so that way it becomes part of the scrunchie and is not sticking out, it's hidden inside. So hold on to it while you work. So again, you go through this ponytail, you bring the yarn through, you will have 2 loops, you yarn over, and you'll go through both of the loops. Again, go through the ponytail, grab the yarn, you will have 2 loops, and you yarn over and go through both of those loops. Again, go through, pick up the yarn, you yarn over and go through both loops. And you will just continue with your single crochets throughout the entire ponytail until you cannot see any of the ponytail. It is completely filled with whatever color that you are using.
And pull through both loops. Go through the ponytail, bring it up, you yarn over, and go through both of the loops. So you go through, yarn over, bring it up, and over again, and go through both loops.
When you finish your row of single crochets, you want to separate these 2 ends a little bit and then enter the first stitch on this end. Then you yarn over and pull through the stitch and then pull through the loop. Tighten it a little bit. For this row, you're gonna do half double crochets. So half double crochet, you yarn over, you go through the stitch, you yarn over and bring it through. You will have 3 loops on your hook. You yarn over and go through all 3. For each stitch, you want to put at least 7 half double crochets into every single stitch. So in this stitch, I will put 6 more half double crochets. In this stitch, I will put 7. This one 7, 7, 7, 7. All of these will have at least 7. That should be your minimum number. You're more than welcome to do more, but if you do less than 7, it won't resemble a scrunchie. So again, you yarn over, you go through the same stitch that this one's in, the same stitch, you yarn over and bring the yarn through the stitch. You'll have 3 loops, yarn over, go through all 3. Yarn over, go through the stitch, yarn over, bring it through, yarn over, go through the stitch, yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through. This is how it will look like with 7 half double crochets in 1 stitch. And then for this stitch, I'm going to do a minimum of 7. You can change it up if you want. You can put 7 for this one, 8 for this one, 9 for this one. You can have it be completely random, but I highly recommend to have at least 7 in each stitch. So for this one, right next to it, yarn over, go through the stitch, yarn over, bring it through, yarn over, go through all three, yarn over, go through, yarn over, go through, yarn over, go through all three. For this one I put 8, and now you can see how it's starting to resemble a scrunchie. And so the more half double crochets that you put into each and every stitch, the scrunchier it will be. So it will be more scrunched up like that. You can put as many as you want, it's completely up to you. So I'm going to continue going into each stitch at least 7 times. So just so you know, this is a stitch, and sometimes you may have to pull the half double crochets this way so that way you can see the stitch next to it. So I'll go into this stitch. When I'm done with that, go into this stitch, and so forth. For this one I put 10, and you can see that the stitch next to it is hidden, so that's why I recommend pulling it this way so you can see the next corresponding stitch instead of going a few stitches ahead, just because the half double crochets are covering the next stitch. So make sure that when you do this, you are making sure that you are going to the next stitch instead of stitches ahead. When you're done with all your half double crochets, you want to connect this end to this end. But before you do that, you want to make sure that the scrunchie is not twisted at all. In the inside, you can see it all like this instead of like that. So mine is all good, so I'm gonna go ahead and connect these two sides. You want to go through the first stitch on the other end, then yarn over, pull through the stitch and pull through this loop, then grab your scissors and cut it, and then yarn over and pull through all the way and tighten it. After that, you want to thread your needle, and you want to weave through the scrunchie. So you will go through the scrunchie, it doesn't matter how many stitches you go through, just weave it through. There's no specific amount. And then you want to go through again, but you don't want to go through the same stitch. You either want to go through the one in front or behind it, so that way it doesn't undo what you just did. So I'm going to go through here and go back in the same direction that we just came from. And then I'm going to weave it again the same direction. It ensures that the thread stays in place and doesn't just stick out like how it is right now. You can either continue weaving it through if you want. I'm just gonna cut this part, and I'm gonna stretch it out so that way it's hidden and tucked in. And this is how the scrunchie will look. If you don't like how the part still shows, you can create more single crochets if you want. This does not require any specific amount of single crochets or half double crochets. You can make it as many as you want. It's completely up to you.